Be consistent. Consistency is the key to success. You've heard it time and time again, but let's be real. Staying consistent is hard. So how do you stay consistent with blogging when you're juggling a job, kids, a household, and life in general? In this video, I'm sharing my top tips that have helped me keep consistency with my blogging businesses week after week, month after month, while juggling all the things. Welcome back to the channel, guys. If you are a female entrepreneur looking to start and or grow a profitable blogging business on WordPress without the stress, then hit that subscribe button and ring the little bell because you are in the right place for tips and tutorials each and every week on how to do just that. So let's talk consistency. Before we get into the how to stay consistent with blogging, we need to start out with the why. Why we all struggle at one point or another as online entrepreneurs, or maybe all the time you're struggling with staying consistent. Now, there could be many contributing factors, but three big ones often come down to, number one, you're your own boss, right? As an entrepreneur, you call the shots. No one is telling you what to do. But then again, no one is telling you what to do. It's hard to stay consistent week after week, month after month when no one else is holding you accountable, right? It's incredibly easy to put it off for later, tomorrow or next week. And then before you know it, it's been a month or two or even more since you've created content for your audience. And it's a super easy pattern to fall into, and it's a straight up recipe for failure. So if all your consistency disappears, it can be really hard to get back on track. So you need to have some systems in place, which we are going to get into in a minute. Now, the second reason consistency can be really challenging with blogging is that blogging requires time, it requires effort. It's not super difficult to do, but it does require actual work. So things like checking your email or posting on Facebook, seeing if you've got any new email subscribers or followers today. Those things are really easy to do, and they're what we tend to fall back on, but they're busy work activities that just eat up your time. And unfortunately, a lot of entrepreneurs get stuck at doing this type of busy work that does not move the needle forward in their business or make it profitable over time in any way. What will lead to sales and profits over time is creating relevant content and building your audience. But there is a process to this if you're going to do it right. It takes hard work, researching blog post ideas, figuring out what you want to blog about each week, right? Doing the keyword research for SEO, and then actually writing the darn blog post and formatting it. Then you got to promote it too. So it's a lot. So often bloggers, they get overwhelmed and they get into the cycle of creating when they feel like it, and then they wonder why they aren't growing. So if you're waiting to feel like it before you start blogging, let me tell you, you're never going to do it. The third reason that you may be struggling with consistency is that you haven't fully committed. So you need to ask yourself, who do you want to be? If you want to be a successful blogger who runs a profitable blogging business, then you need to show up like one. Like I said, you can't show up when you feel like it. There are a lot of times when I'd rather be playing Legos with my kids or binge watching Ted Lasso with my husband, my new favorite show, by the way. Definitely check it out. But I have the big picture in mind, and I know I have to show up for myself and my audience to make that goal a reality. So if you are truly committed, you will know that you need to do the same. And this also ties into knowing your why. And it's why you need a strong why. Why are you trying to build a blogging business? Why are you committed to showing up week after week? That's really important. And then you want to make sure your why is bigger and stronger than your excuse. So hit the like button if you can relate to any of these things, and let me know if this is making sense to you. Okay, so that takes care of the why, but let's talk about one more why before we get into some tips. So why do you need to be so consistent with blogging or creating content of any type when you are building an online blogging business? What's the point, right? Well, consistency is how you build trust and credibility. No one wants to follow someone who is inconsistent. Plus, if you make consistency a priority, people will begin to follow you. You'll become part of their weekly routine. Then they're gonna look forward to your content each week and become more engaged with you and your brand. And secondly, the more consistent you are, the more content you create, which gives you more of an opportunity to be found on Pinterest, within Google via your SEO, on YouTube, wherever you are showing up. So consistent blogging leads to a snowball effect of more viewers, more email subscribers, more sales, more testimonials, more people who want to work with you. And that momentum is just what's going to skyrocket you. Okay, now that we've covered the whys, let's get into the how-to. Here are my 7 productivity tips to help bloggers actually be consistent and stay consistent with blogging. So number 1 is evaluate the use of your work time. You need to know how you are currently using the time that you have so you can know how to better utilize it moving forward. So are you spending 20 minutes of your work hour on Facebook, checking Pinterest stats, checking emails, or numerous other, time sucks, right? Take today or tomorrow and log every single thing you do during your work time, and you will likely be very surprised at the valuable work time you are wasting. So writing a quality blog post, it's hard work. It's like I said, it's easy to put off for some much simpler brainless tasks. But not all parts of running your blogging business are created equal, and you are your business's CEO. You need to be focusing on things that move the needle forward. So make a log, and once you have a better idea of how you're using your time and how you can use it more effectively, the second thing to do is create a schedule and be realistic. So evaluate your schedule and responsibilities, and then figure out what you can realistically commit to. So if you are working full-time and raising young kids, then creating quality content 2 times a week is probably going to be almost impossible. If you are a new blogger trying to figure out all the different aspects of building a profitable blog, then your time is going to be more limited at first as well. So start out with a blog post maybe every other week and increase it from there, because quality is better than quantity and consistency is better than inconsistency. So create a plan that works for you, and really take some time to seriously evaluate your schedule. Come up with that realistic plan for yourself. And I highly recommend 1 blog post per week. And if you're not there yet, set it up as a goal to get there as soon as possible. Then from there, number 3, once you have a realistic schedule that you can commit to, the third step is to create a blogging content calendar and stick to it. So think, what day each week will you commit to publishing new content? Start scheduling this in some type of content calendar so you have a content strategy in place. I'm going to share my content calendar with you to kind of give you an idea of what you could do. So here is my content calendar that I use. I also share a blank copy of this with my students in my content creation blueprint course, as well as my blogging business blueprint course. And it's so much less overwhelming when you have a plan and you know what you are going to be blogging about each week. So I schedule each week's blog post content and I make it non-negotiable. So you can see these are the dates that I want to publish. This is my title, the long tail keywords I'm ranking for, questions people have asked me, is there a YouTube video? As I got further on the year, I pivoted to where I'm making my YouTube videos first now. And then, like I said, my VA is transcribing them into blog posts for me. So I have all these scheduled. And then if you scroll down to the bottom, you're going to see I have the next month scheduled out too. So as you can see, this week is how to stay consistent with blogging. And then I have all of August scheduled out as well. So when I sit down to write each week, I know exactly what I'm writing about. I also have a section here called Blog Post Brain Dump, where I collect ideas and questions from my audience, which leads to tip number 4. You want to continually be collecting content ideas. You never want to be staring at a blank screen when you sit down to write. So anytime someone asks me a question or an idea pops in my head for a blog post or a YouTube video, I add it to that sheet. And if I'm out, somewhere and something pops in my head, I'll add it to the notes section of my phone. So hit the like button if this is making sense. I have a whole playlist on content creation videos that I will share with you above as well for more tips. Okay, moving on to how to stay consistent with blogging. Tip number 5 is you want to batch your content. So instead of jumping around from researching to writing to making pins to promoting, which is going to waste so much time, you want to focus on one key task per day. So what really helped me when I was exclusively writing blog posts was to outline a few of my blog posts on Mondays. I would do the titles, the headlines, research the long tail keywords I was trying to rank for. Then I would actually write out 1 or 2 posts on Tuesdays. Tuesday was my writing day. And then I'd format them on Thursdays within WordPress and schedule a few of them to go out over the next few weeks, which you can do in WordPress. And then I'd use the rest of the time to promote the current post that I just posted that day, making Pinterest pins and things like that. Now my content creation process looks a bit different as I've grown. I spent Mondays outlining YouTube videos. Tuesdays, I batch record a few videos at a time. I edit them on Wednesdays. I've started to outsource this a bit, which is so much better. And then I publish them on Thursdays and promote them on various platforms. Then I send my video transcription to my VA, who then turns it into a blog post. She does this by Friday, and then I fix any formatting that needs to be done on WordPress and schedule a new blog post each week to be published on Monday. This leads me right into my next tip, which is number 6, to outsource. Now, I know this is not easy for many entrepreneurs. It wasn't easy for me. I resisted the idea of outsourcing for a really long time because I kept thinking I didn't have enough money to hire someone. And quite honestly, I was afraid to give up some of that control. But man, it has been the best decision I have ever made. It has given me so much more time to focus on the things only I can do. It's taken away stress from trying to stay consistent, and it's given me so much more happiness and freedom. So if you think you don't have the money to outsource, the reason why is likely because you are not outsourcing. And this is exactly where I was. So if you're waiting to make money with your blog before you outsource, it may never happen, right? And it took me a long time to learn this lesson, but trying to do it all yourself will keep you from concentrating on those activities that will actually result in money in your pocket and a profitable business, honestly. Let me know if that makes sense. And my last tip for how to stay consistent with blogging is to make sure that you reward yourself when you are consistent. Because entrepreneurs, we're all quick to say, what's next after we accomplish something, right? But it's important to just pause and acknowledge and celebrate your wins. And staying consistent each week is a huge win. Maybe that means buying yourself a Starbucks coffee each week that you're consistent. Or, you're scheduling time to do something you love after each week or month of consistency. Think of what will just motivate you and then reward yourself accordingly when you are consistent. It's not always easy to stay consistent week after week, but you can absolutely do this. So remember, done is better than perfect, okay? And you got this. To help prevent the blogging overwhelm that keeps so many entrepreneurs stuck, be sure to grab my free copy of my blog post checklist and calendar at thecreativeimpact.com/calendar. And for those of you that want more help with creating content, I have created a simple framework to simplify the entire process and take you step by step through each specific task to make creating blog posts so much easier. So if you want to learn more about that, check out thecreativeimpact.com/content course. I'll put more about both of these in the show notes as well. All right, guys, have a great week. I'll see you next week. Bye.